grab this link real quick.
Get it.
Excellent. Hello, those of you who are popping in.
Good morning.
I'm bullish complacency. That's what I am. I have nothing to say really. It's like everything's up. What are you gonna do? You're either in position or you're not. I don't really think there's much to do, honestly. Waves is up 43%.
Show's over, Josh.
43% today. If that's not late cycle things, I don't know what is.
Bro, don't say the words like late cycle.
I don't know. Bottom of the 8th inning.
That's what we'll argue about today.
What's going on over at Waves, man? Why do I always hear about this? Why do so many people trade Waves at Binance? I feel like it's constantly it's either like a top lick coin on Bybit, BYBT, or it's like a top traded coin on Binance. I don't get it. I've never traded Waves.
Probably because it's easy to P&D. That'd be my guess.
I think it's kind of big though, right?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Let's look at the witch list, if you will. Wavescap.com. They have a DEX that people use, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah.
$3 billion.
All right. You'll have notifications with Weekly Open tweet. Holler at it.
Hollering.
Easy.
Do your hollering.
Retweet has been engaged.
Excellent. Well, let's get straight to it then.
Shall we?
Don't want y'all to spill all this content too soon, you know?
Don't want me to spill all this alpha too soon.
Exactly. Just so much.
Just dripping.
All right.
Have you seen the waves chart? Have you seen it?
I haven't looked at it myself.
I'll let you complain about
We'll look at it on
I'm
stream.
not complaining. I'm just saying,
about
guys,
it in a minute.
like, if I'm selling the bottom, I'm buying the top, you know? That sort of situation.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Weekly Open. I'm Brian. I've got Luke and Josh here today with me. They'll be with us in just a moment. Don's out today. Hope he feels better soon. Before we get all the way to it, I want to tell you about Blockfolio. They're our partner for Weekly Open. If you go to weeklyopen.com/Blockfolio, you can check it out and download it for yourself. It makes trading crypto easy. You can trade with zero fees. You can swap directly from one asset to the other. It's a fantastic app. You also get all the portfolio tracking that you've loved ever since 2014, and it's all on your mobile phone. A mobile-first trading experience, direct from one asset to the other, fully powered by FTX books. Thanks so much to FTX, to Blockfolio for being our partners. Just go to weeklyopen.com/Blockfolio to check it out for yourself and download it so that they know that Weekly Open sent you. Luke, hello.
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging out. Josh, hey, how you doing?
Hello. How's it going?
It is.
I'm just staring at the waves chart, man.
Yeah.
I'm just lost in the waves chart. That's all I gotta say.
You're lost in the weeds of waves.
I'm lost in the sauce right now. I gotta tell you.
More importantly, Luke is driving the chart here. He's looking at Bitcoin, which I don't like to look at as much as ETH at the moment because it looks more bearish.
I have to pull up Waves real quick. All
yeah,
right.
just got to get it out of the way. Get it out of the way. Fine, sure.
What do you mean get it out of the way? It's something like it's an all-time high, right?
I don't want to.
Some coin that's like number 150 on the market cap list is up 30%, and Josh is shook for some reason.
It's up 42%. Okay.
Who cares? Who
My
cares?
point here. Let me get it out. Here's my point. Everybody's like, ETH is special. It's up 40% since April. Well, guess what? Waves is up 42% since yesterday. That's all. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Go ahead, Luke.
Bull market things, man. I mean, yeah, Ledge, as you said, Bitcoin is, it's hard to look at Bitcoin when you have ETH. Look at this chart. It just goes up, green candle after green candle. I don't want to look at Bitcoin.
ETH had
There's not a whole lot going on in Bitcoin, man.
ETH had the benefit of consolidation at the highs, breakout, very scary retest, secondary retest, moon, all from round numbers, and then that trip from 2,000 to 3,000. I mean, it looks easy now. However, as people who followed my own trading in it, it wasn't that easy to actually get that entry unless you, like, if you look at that wick, for example, up above 2,500, like, and then it goes all the way back to 2,200. That was not easy. Like, if you were just playing the initial retest. So if you're in on spot, easy. If you're in on margin, you either got in at a really nice time, you got in with a really wide, stop, or you enter just a wee bit over time and are feeling good about your setup. We hit 3,000 overnight, and we pushed up another $150 after that. We are not really seeing a ton of volume yet. We're not really seeing like too scary of funding or anything like that. So it makes you think maybe this thing's got some room. What do you think, Luke?
I mean, yeah, I keep hearing this funding narrative. It does look positive, right? Like traders aren't getting too ridiculously AP. We just saw some pretty nasty wicks on Bybit. I don't know if that was someone who just woke up angry on the weekly open, but
somebody woke up and chose violence.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, someone woke up and chose violence and was just smashing $5 million and $1 million market sales. But I don't know, like, yeah, it looks constructive. I think the ETH USD chart's very scary. I think the ETH BTC chart looks great. Like, if you're zooming out and looking at weekly, monthly, like the 1,000-day range that we break out of, probably don't want to fade that.
Yeah,
sure, it could retrace, but like I think the ETH USD charts there scare you. I think ETH BTC, if you're investing, if you're trading high time frames, not too much to be scared about.
Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's scary in the sense that the volume hasn't quite picked up and there's just no selling. I don't want to sound bearish or anything. I don't want to shake anybody out or anything. I'm still holding. I'm planning on selling on anything above 4,500. That's my number. I'm out. Spot ETH, you can have them. I'm not trading leverage right now. I just haven't opened a position. I've been AFK past couple of days, but yeah, I mean, it looks good. The real story is probably the ETH hash rate, which continues to just moon versus BTC. And BTC's hash rate just had a difficulty adjustment, negative 12%, and it's projecting another negative 6% in the next 10 days. So that's a bit weird, but yeah, I mean, you can't look at this and say it's over soon. Like Luke is saying, we haven't had a euphoric wick. We haven't had a euphoric volume. The weekly looks fine. It looks insane, but it's crypto, right?
Yeah.
You could say there's bear divs on volume and stuff so far, but yeah. It just looks like somebody is just buying, getting in like $1 billion position or something because it's just nonstop TWAPing, right? It's just, if you look on the daily, it's just been a slow march upward. I was saying in a video,
ETHUSD daily, right?
Yeah. I was saying in a video I did today that it looks as bullish as Zeke looked bearish when it's just like continuously bleeding. It's inverse bleeding is what it is.
Inverse bleeding.
Yeah. And you can draw all sorts of stuff. You can say, is this a rising wedge? Is this parabolic? Is this whatever? I mean, I don't know. I can't open a long up here. That's for sure. Like a leverage long. I just can't. Looking at the percentage move over the past week, right? It's up what, 40% in a week? Is that right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
50% in a week. So if you're aping into that, I mean, I wish you luck, but I just can't.
I think the thing is, it's not something that you want to ape out of. ETH BTC is the chart to watch. The long discussed magnet of 0.055, which as we were beginning this show just seemed like so far away. 0.031, 0.03, 0.033, just struggling at the lows in February and stuff back when we were getting started with Weekly Open. And we were talking about this magnet at 0.055. Yep. We're basically hitting that today. Like, we're at it right now. My natural moving target self is already saying, 0.055, too easy. Take me to 0.084. Which is the third lower high of the 2018 bear market start. And that's really where the ETH bull market ended with certainty, right? Like after it's like, no, this is not consolidation. This is just death relative to Bitcoin. 0.055 is good. 0.084 is ETH 10K, even while Bitcoin goes up. And I don't see a lot of good reason why it can't do that. I still think actually that people are probably pretty underweight Ethereum, between people that waited a long time rotating, like large money rotating out of Bitcoin to be willing to dabble in ETH, fundamental drivers, and people, well, like myself, that still have significant exposure to DeFi. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but ETH is the base currency of that ecosystem, and it's just on a tear. So can we pause at 0.055? Totally. Well, we can pause right here on a relative basis. But the USD chart still looks much better than Bitcoin's USD chart, and it makes me think it's going to just have continuation.
I think anything below 4 or 5 is a gift as far as a rebuy, because of that horizontal. Like if we get anything down there, not that I'm expecting it, but anything down there would definitely be a strong rebuy.
That requires either the market melting down in a big way or Bitcoin absolutely melting up on news. Like,
all it requires is Bitcoin doing something. I mean, Bitcoin's done nothing for a month, right? It was down in April versus ETH, which was up 40+%, right? So all it requires is Bitcoin to literally do anything, and ETH will take a hit, because right now it's just ETH's show in price discovery, just slow melting up. So I want everything to moon. I want it to go infinity, right? That doesn't matter to me what it is, if it's ETH or BTC. It's just I'm extremely cautious up here because, man,
Henry in a vacuum, Henry in the chat said it requires the Central Bank of Canada announcing that they're sat stacking. I remember when we were talking about the beginning of the bull market that would be top things, right? When central banks start stacking sats. Do y'all still think that's the type of thing?
How can that be a top?
I don't know.
That's the bottom. That's like today's top is tomorrow's bottom. If they start stacking sats, that's going to take them a while to get their number of sats
to acquire what they want. Realistically, like some of the worst countries have already begun stacking sats, almost without a doubt. They just don't necessarily. They don't have to talk about it, right? They don't have to disclose the things that they've done, like securities do, like stocks and other investment firms that have to put out reports to their shareholders. A country can do things a little more quietly if they desire to, especially smaller countries that don't have as much like press accountability or something like that. So, Luke, you've got this. What's the blue line? Is that the monthly open?
It's a monthly open.
Yeah. So the prior monthly open, or the current monthly open, the April monthly open is what that is. That's showing
previous
showing resistance here. Do you basically think we make new highs above that line? I mean, it would also tend to be like just failure of the downtrend. What's kind of your tune changing number?
Yeah, it's kind of how I'm looking at it. I mean, like even the monthlies aside, like if you weren't using those, if you don't ascribe to that belief, I just think this chart kind of looks ugly. Like I know some people are going to say, we kind of got stuck at 60K because of Elon's $100 million sell, whatever it is.
It's just testing.
Like the chart just looks ugly. Like, just testing that liquidity. Yeah, tell them to stop. But that is kind of how I view it. If we can get back above this monthly open, sure, then we have like another third ugly run at 60K. I think if, what I'm kind of thinking and hoping happens is we actually get back below that 57, 56 today, tomorrow, and we go through, another week or so of kind of hanging out. I think that gives ETH a chance to run. I think Bitcoin all of a sudden looks a lot more appetizing. This is just like, I look at Bitcoin, I'm I'm not too excited to trade it. Like Josh or Ledge, I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on actually opening a trade on Bitcoin here? I know you're not too excited about it going long ETH.
Yeah.
What's the play here?
I'm not.
Bitcoin?
I'm not against being long ETH. I was long ETH. I finally.
Sure.
I'd reopened that trade that I talked about from 2,700. There was a consolidation there, and I closed it on the first impulse above 3,000, so like 30, something like that. So I missed like the last $100 overnight, but I actually thought BTC would rotate a bit. So on some kind of really low time frame point, I started opening a BTC long, but my collateral's in ETH. So it's like I want to capture the ETH upside. So it's like what everybody tells you not to do, right? It's overly reflexive or whatever if it dumps. But so my collateral's in ETH, my long is in Bitcoin, thinking it is basically going to mandate tackling that level. I just think it's going to happen. The Dixie's really looking weak right now as well, and I think that is going to drive Bitcoin more than it drives Ethereum. And I do think above 58.5, 59. I don't think the prior highs of 63 are going to stand in its way. I was looking at pivots, and that was one of the yearly pivots that was the resistance there at 63, 64. I think it's the R2 maybe, Josh. And I think that kind of the next location after that, people, if they don't use pivots, here I can pull them up on the stream. If people don't use these, they can be pretty helpful for these like rangy periods where you're trying to figure out what's what. Yeah, so the R3 was at 62.8. The next target from a pivots perspective is 80, and then 100K after that at the R5. Funny enough, Ethereum's really hard to do with pivots because it's always so extreme. But Ethereum's R5 was at 2,500, which was also the resistance and breakout point. So these pivots are kind of a magic line created for you at the beginning of the year based on the prior year's price action. Historically on Bitcoin, they've actually been quite good at determining where you might find resistance in price exploration. Whether you use fibs or pivots or other tools at your exposure, when you're looking at potential resistances in price exploration, I do find them handy. And I know Josh does as well because we talk about them frequently. Josh, you have anything to add on the pivots front?
No, yeah, it looks good. I like 80. I like 100. I guess mentally you have to think like if BTC goes into price discovery again, is it going to be as lethargic as the first time? Versus ETH right now, right? I'm not trying to sell people on a BTC trade. Like if you're in ETH and holding ETH, great. There's no trade there for me because I'm not going to chase it on a leverage thing right now. That's the only issue. I like BTC on the 4-hour cloud, but other than that, there isn't really much for me to do right now. I feel.
Yeah, even if you look at ETH, like Bitcoin or ETH did use the pivots as points of importance, but now it's beyond all of them. To put this in perspective, like yearly pivots in legacy markets, like you wouldn't even look past like R2, R3 typically. So when you're considering the volatility of crypto, like it's kind of hilarious. I don't think the next move in Bitcoin would be lethargic because the last great impulse was February 20th. That was kind of and that wasn't even like the world's craziest impulse after what we saw in January, and every high since has been pretty weak. So I think actually we don't make that high and we have a longer term consolidation, maybe more, like essentially make our top for Q3 and like don't have another good bit in Bitcoin until Q4, or we clear this. And this is what I actually think is more likely. And then it starts going a good bit faster as people believe. And like, especially if ETH is, really moving up significantly, still like Bitcoin will all of a sudden seem like the value play, which is kind of silly to say when it's at 60K or almost 60K. But I think that could really happen if ETH goes to 4 or 5K and Bitcoin's still kind of battling 60K or something like that, I feel like the rotation back to BTC for some catch-up trading is pretty likely in that scenario.
Yeah, and you're just
what
basically...
we need? Neil,
what do we need?
go ahead. I was going to say, Neil commented it in the chat. He said that Walmart rumor going to pop. That's all Bitcoin needs, the Walmart rumor to come true.
I don't understand.
Could be out in May.
I don't understand why that rumor is even a thing. Are Walmart earnings today?
No, it's just like the Facebook one. I think it comes out late May. They report their earnings, but it's just hilarious. These Twitter things, they get so big that, I mean, Fox Business was about Facebook potentially buying, and then it became this like sell the news event that all just started on a tweet. Someone started on Walmart too. I don't know. It'd be funny to watch. Who knows? Maybe it's true.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Another question we got in the chat was, do we think that this is going to rotate to DeFi from ETH Move? I do think it will, but if you look at the ETH relative DeFi Pulse Index, which is a pretty good, like kind of blue chippy index, pretty heavily weighted towards the majors, it's at the 0.618, but it's like a double tap of it, so it needs to kind of make its move relative to ETH sooner than later if it's going to do it. However, when you look at it versus the dollar, like it looks like it had a breakout, and then it looks like it had a fake breakdown and a reclaim, and it looks magnificent. So yeah, it looks fantastic against the dollar, but not really against ETH. So what's next? I tend to think it rotates, but I'm not sure. What do y'all think?
I mean, this feels like, again, I don't want to sound bearish, right? But I'm just trying to like, where are we in the cycles in my head versus 2013 versus 2017? And when you have these spikes in BTC pairs, like we're seeing across the board, you know, everyone's like, my coin is special, right? Decred is special, Waves is special, ETH is special.
Dude, you're mentioning coins that I haven't thought about in a long time.
my point is that they're all the same. Right. That my point is, this is all late cycle stuff. LTC, right? LTC is going to pop too. It's going to be the same thing. And that's where people get lost in the stuff's going to infinity and then it doesn't. I'm just saying, be careful aping into stuff like this. DeFi perp looks great. I think everything's got a ways to go. I'm just saying, be careful. Pigs get slaughtered.
I think that I think the difference between like freaking Waves, Decred, LTC, I could care less. Like they may pump here or there, but that's all they are. They're just pumps. I think the DeFi trade is a much more natural capital rotation than any of that stuff out of Ethereum. Luke, what do you think? What do you think? Is there rotation?
100%. Yeah, that's rotation. That's a repricing. Right. Like that's why DeFi has done as well as it has over the past 6-9 months. And why, you know, if you had to bet or, you know, even if you weren't trading it, if you had to put odds on it, how are the top 12 or 15 DeFi protocols going to do versus XRP, Stellar Lumens, Decred, Waves, whatever Waves is, compare how those two do together.
Yeah. All those are boring to me.
Right. But you could care less. And I'm saying,
like, I think
I could care less about ETH because it's all the same.
Like, Josh, I'm with you. I'm with you. And like, we might be late cycle, we might be early cycle. I understand the rotation that's going to go to those DeFi things is, on average, it's going to be higher. Like, I think that's a much different trade. I think money's going to keep getting allocated there, even if things get pretty nasty for these dinosaur coins that are pumping. I think DeFi coins just do well. I think downside capture will be okay. I think the upside capture is always going to be there. I think that rotation is going to keep happening.
Yeah, I think the fundamentals for DeFi are definitely there and much better than any of the zombie coins. But my point is, this is all rotate. Most of this is rotation stuff, and less of it is my coin is awesome stuff. That's my point.
Yep.
Why is it more so rotation than my coin is awesome with the DeFi repricing and all that?
Well, because it's not just ETH; it's also the zombie coins. You know, if it was just the ETH plus DeFi stuff for mooning. Which that it's partially that, sure, but a lot of it is also this rotation stuff. So don't get married to a community, I guess is my point. Yeah, and DeFi looks great. I'm long DeFi, right? I want to see it go to infinity. It's just be careful up here. That's all I'm saying.
You know what I ascribe it to a little bit? CMS, Dan Matuszewski talked about this probably 6 months ago, and I didn't even appreciate it as much then as I do today. Probably the call maybe during this entire cycle. And he said, we're entering the hot ball of money phase. I don't know what he exactly said. It was something like that. He said, it doesn't matter if this coin's dog shit. Don't short anything. It's all going to pump. And I think Bitcoin's at 60K, ETH's at 3K, Doge is at 50 cents. There's just so much money floating around. Yeah, there's going to be like these dinosaur coins doing nothing to pump. I don't think that takes away though from the rotation. Like the totally legitimate rotation is going to keep happening. And I also I guess that's why when people see Doge pump and they get so worried, like it doesn't worry me so much. I view that as a hot ball of money. Sure, that's going to happen. There's just a lot of money floating around. It doesn't scare me so much. Like Doge pumped. Oh no, my DeFi coins are going to stop going up. I just think it's a totally separate trade.
All right, I'm going to have a separate take here, which is that I agree with the hot ball of money idea. Sometimes it'll be like whatever seems the easiest to pump will pump because that's crypto markets. They're still very pumpable, in particular outside of Bitcoin and ETH. I think we're probably due for rotation 2.0 with DeFi. I look at market caps and XRP is number 4. It's $1.56. That was January 2018 insanity pump, and XRP is as scammy as ever. But
you're saying it should be higher, right?
Yeah, sure.
XRP should be higher.
XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano, Polkadot, those are all still Dot. Okay, whatever, top 10. But Uniswap's the first DeFi project at number 9. Chainlink at number 12. Solana's at 15, which has been a huge repricing, which is probably warranted, certainly relative to some of the things I just talked about. But there's still Tron and Neo are 21 and 22. And then it takes getting to 25 where you get Terra, PancakeSwap, Aave's at 28. That's just an atrocity. That's like an absolute atrocity of market cap. Aave is a top 10 coin at number 28 still. IOTA is still number 32, meanwhile Maker's at 35 and, Matic, Polygon at 36. And that's after it's moved up a ton. But I still feel like the upside pricing compound at 45 an atrocity. Top synthetics at 55, a super atrocity. There's still repricing that needs to be done in DeFi, and that there's lots of productive assets that are further down that list. So I refuse to acknowledge basically anything until that stuff is repriced.
Yeah, I agree, but zombie coins are going to do their zombie thing. Fundamentally, 100%, all those DeFi coins should be way above any of that trash. Even Tezos, just get it out.
And I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen in this market, even if it happens on the downside, right? Like everything pumps, and then when the correction comes, those don't correct as much as the zombies. But at some point, that repricing is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
the downside repricing is a lot less. It's a lot less fun if they just don't drop as much.
Yeah,
I hope that would not. I hope they can out pump.
Would not be near as exciting for us. Aave's in that 28 spot. It last made a high February 10th, and it's on the verge of making new highs now, breaking out after multi-month consolidation. If Aave does that, it's doubling. It's just a straightforward. This has to double, right? And that's the repricing of Aave from 28 to 18 or something like that. I don't know exactly. And it could triple and go to top 15 or something. You know what I mean? That's how these things happen. And that I think we're going to have imminent DeFi repricing. The question I don't know is how is that going to look versus ETH, because ETH is also repricing. So as good as Aave looks like it's recovered, when you look at it next to ETH, it looks like it could just break down again, it's basically back at the November 2020 retest, and where it broke out from in January 2021. It's back to where it was in January in ETH terms. The down versus ETH percentage on a daily close basis is 45%. Aave is down 45% versus ETH since February.
Sounds like a good rotation trade to me.
A good rotation to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But it doesn't really have, even at $500, it doesn't really have the evidence that is the trade to be in versus ETH. It doesn't have confirmation. If it goes above 0.185, that it's kind of a new high, and maybe then. But anyway, it's not obvious yet. What were you gonna say?
Well, I think if you're being reasonable and responsible, you're slowly rotating, right? You're taking your profits from ETH and rotating into the DeFi stuff. That's just like rotation 101, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what we're talking about.
I think it kind of reminds me of like how altcoins used to act versus Bitcoin. Like I think that's how these DeFi coins will act to ETH. Like, if ETH actually gets stuck here at 0.055 or gets stuck at 0.07, 0.08, that's when the DeFi can take off versus ETH. Like, back in the day before we had USD perps for every single altcoin, you had to wait until Bitcoin hit resistance before you would long every single alt. Now you can just, get long and ride them up in the dollar pair. But I think that you kind of have to wait for ETH to hit that wall. I don't know if it's in the next 5 or 10% at 0.055 or, like I'm doing the same thing as you. I'm moving my targets up. I think we do hit 0.07 for ETH. So maybe you have to wait until 0.07 and then you catch your DeFi longs versus ETH.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a quote unquote safer play. I'm sure the downside capture is something similar, but ETH isn't going to go away. Some of the DeFi protocols won't go away, but maybe they will. And if the upside's happening for ETH and you could argue pretty clearly that it's safer, I don't see the reason to rotate like early. I'd almost rather rotate late. It's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, I don't have the little like ghost candle thing. I was talking to Cred about this. We did a joint show because Don was sick and Josh was out as well on Friday. And it's kind of uncanny the way ETH is moving at exactly like Bitcoin did in 2017, all the way to like where the all-time highs were from the prior cycle, right? ETH went to 1400, Bitcoin went to 12 or 1300 back in 2013. And then the breakout, like, what if ETH at 3K is like Bitcoin at 3K in 2017? Like, there's your Alex wife's what if hat. Like, people are talking about ETH maybe 10K, but like, that's an amazing number all by itself. And then what if it overshoots it? What if ETH finishes the cycle at 20K? And I agree with you. The way the trading pairs work, the way the flows work, ETH pairs on DEXs are exactly the same as Bitcoin pairs on Bittrex and Polo and crap were. It is
as it used to be.
Yeah, it's the exact same kind of like up in USD, but inversely correlated in terms of like total price action and momentum. And I think as soon as this fuels my call for that rotation trade, I may be early on that. I was certainly early to it when I tried to call for it on alts versus BTC. It tended to come in those capitulation moments, right? Back when we had those corrections throughout the 2017 year, and then like the big one after the December run when it was fully peaked. But I think this feels a lot more in the ETH relative basis. Like maybe we had March of 2017 already, but now we're waiting on like May, June. There was a whole nother alts run, if I remember correctly, that was after that multi-month consolidation. Do y'all think that's a worthy parallel?
To BTC? Definitely.
Yeah, to what BTC 2017 was and the alts rotations between, like, remember January, February, there were some huge alts runs, and then they waited, and then some stuff rotated in March and April, and then a bunch of alts ran in May or June. Like it was these every couple months as Bitcoin chilled a little bit, alts went absolutely ballistic. And I feel like we're looking for that kind of last leg of alts having a big move relative to ETH, while ETH consolidates. And then if ETH follows the full plan, it'll just completely take over towards the end of the year, or like in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's one of those like 2017. every single time, on the way up, as you're timing Bitcoin hits resistance, you get in some alts, and then, a week later, Bitcoin's taken off again. Your alt's getting crushed versus Bitcoin. I think ETH could totally do that. Like it might take 3 or 4 stabs at it where you're like, oh, great. I timed this rotation nice. And then ETH just dominates again. Like it takes longer than you think. And then he finally hits that wall. And then we see the serious rotation. I think that's definitely plausible. I would say probably more likely than not. It just looks so strong.
I think the craziest thing somebody brought up yesterday was ETH is higher than BTC was in 2018 price wise, because BTC hit what in 2018, right? 3,200 or something. Yeah, 3,187. So it's equivalent to 2018 price. That's just nuts to think about. I think we need more flippening narrative on Twitter and everywhere else. Like the meth heads need to get more excited for me to be like, okay, it's definitely the top. Just like the maxis were bearish on ETH, BTC at the bottom. So I think it's crowded, but I agree. Like it's going higher for sure. That's why I like 45 plus for sure on ETH. It's just, how do you trade it? Do you just DCA in and hope for the best, or
I think you buy. I think those 20% dips like we had, or like 20 to 30% dips, you just average in on those, and then like hold on with both hands.
Pray.
Yeah.
Pray. Don't look at the screens.
Pretty much.
You hope you have enough. You never have enough. You don't have as much as Kobe, but you just hope your stack is enough. That's the only way to trade it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
What else? What other alts are you guys looking at? Anything else crazy?
Dude,
Josh, I know you were looking at waves. Come on.
Hold on. I have this ETH chart that I had drawn, like the all-time high to 3K and the parabola like off of August 2020, and it broke out of the parabola because that's what happens in parabolas, but like it went fully through that chart. So based on my idea back in January 2020, I should be closing ETH longs here. But of course now I don't want to, right? I just have no desire to get out of ETH. Although I think this was maybe the 1.618. If I was to fib that out, let me find out. I need to figure out what the justification for that target was other than round number 3K. I'm guessing it was the 1.618 from the prior all-time high. Yeah, it was. Roughly.
Yeah, I guess if you're like Don and you're an alt person, I think you're aggressively looking for rotations at this point. Regardless of ETH strength, I don't think you're just like doubling down in your ETH position here. I think you're just looking for those rotations at this point.
I think what's really complicated is there's stuff that looks absolutely amazing versus Bitcoin, and it looks like garbage versus ETH. I'll show you one. And like historically, like if you have the opportunity to outperform Bitcoin, you're very happy. Still, that should be the case.
You take it.
Still, that should be the case, except for like ETH is so much more liquid and everything than everything else that like it's kind of dumb if you can't outperform ETH. So you got to look at like 3 pairs. How's it doing versus the dollar? How's it doing versus BTC? How's it doing versus ETH? I actually think Wi-Fi is about to go absolutely ballistic versus BTC. Looks like it's going to 1.58 to me. It's about to break its 200-day moving average to the upside. And I love the consolidation that it's had. I love absolutely everything about it. The dollar pair also like ready to make new highs, ready to go. What's funny though is just like I was mentioning, like the ETH pair made new lows, and it basically tells you don't enter this unless it comes back and kind of reclaims. But it retested all the way back to its August 2020 launch relative to ETH before it did that massive pump. At one point, Wi-Fi was 111 ETH per Wi-Fi. And today it's 16.
When was that? 111.
September 2020, at the end of DeFi season, DeFi summer, it was 112, 100 and something ETH per Wi-Fi. That's down 85% relative to ETH. Now, I think Wi-Fi is absolutely going to 100K. I think it could go much higher. I think it's going to 1.5 BTC per Wi-Fi. I think that relative to ETH, Wi-Fi 28 ETH per Wi-Fi is like a bearish retest. That alone would be like a 60% move plus. So like if I'm looking for rotation, this is one that looks very good for rotation to me.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want to rotate. You want to rotate when it looks bearish, right? So if you have strong conviction on like the rotation play, the fundamentals, the fact that this thing isn't going to go anywhere, yeah, this is what you look for. You look for absolute like bottom of the barrel stuff like this, right? It's like you said, multi-month bear.
Yeah, but that's versus ETH.
Yeah. But you just have to eat it, right? You have to sit here and eat it and be convicted that this is going to make a what? What'd you say? 28 at least?
Yeah.
70% move. Yeah.
And and that is like that's price exploration in USD, and it's a very bullish breakout versus BTC. So it looks like magnificent in those two pairs, and it looks like dog trash in the ETH pair. So my assumption is if it properly breaks out against BTC, if it properly hits price exploration in USD, then that'll also provide its reversal versus ETH. So then that gives you an opportunity to say, hey, this is a coin that can outperform ETH, and this is a coin that I think has a significant upside. And that's my thesis on Wi-Fi. They've also been working out a lot of their fundamental stuff that they've had over the years. It is creating a pretty significant moat in like vault deposits and that kind of stuff, and providing yield, yada yada. It just looks really good to me, and I don't know. I'm gonna try to stick with it this time. It's so hard, man. It's like that versus ETH chart shows. Like it's been so painful to try to every time I play Wi-Fi, I just bleed relative to ETH, and I chop relative to the dollar. I think it's about time here for Wi-Fi.
It's like the flip side of it. How many months was it just so painful to buy ETH and it just do nothing as DeFi coins went up? This is like, ETH just kind of kicking back. It's swinging back. Like it's kind of fair that like these things are getting crushed in ETH value. ETH so many months you just buy it. The first 3 or 4 months of this year, basically until April, it was like ETH just did nothing. It was stuck. So I don't know, back and forth.
Yeah, you can't get too antsy, I think, is really the bottom line. Just have to have conviction and hold on. Yeah, Comp ETH looks amazing to me as well.
I mean, Comp is one of those ones, kind of like Solana did, where it's like on bull days it goes up, on bear days it goes up. And it's like it just versus the dollar. And this is a coin that like was underperforming Aave so badly.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just looks like it completely got it together. It was much more bullish on its consolidation. It didn't break the all-time highs until April, but like the consolidation from February was way more bullish versus USD than Aave's was. And I did not pick up on that well enough. And then, man, this is just filthy.
I think all the lending and borrowing stuff just looks so good against ETH.
Yeah, these wicks here that this fed into in mid-April are insane, and it ate all of them up in the 400s, and now it's doubled since then. Comp's a little scary to me. Like it just hit its 4.618 fib extension from its September highs to the lows in November. So it could go higher, but the dollar pair scares me a little bit.
Well, I think as long as Maker's doing what Maker's doing,
everything else.
All of the lending and borrowing stuff is repricing. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, it doesn't make sense why Maker is mooning, because fundamentally I think the coin is trash, but like people are just saying Maker's bullish, and it is. Like Maker's the pillar of DeFi, blah, blah, blah. But like for me, the coin doesn't really do anything,
Well, they have token value accrual to the tune of, I think, $80 per Maker annually. So you can do like some kind of price to sales ratio, basically, which is interesting. Like, I don't know if that makes it expensive when it's $4,500 or whatever it is, but
It's 55 now, I think.
50, yeah. But it is like that is actual existing current day token
Revenue.
value accrual.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to, like, you can't be bearish on that, and you can understand why it's repricing as aggressively as it is.
And as a comparison, and if you might pull it up, Josh, you had it earlier, is Uni. Everybody's assuming that's going to happen with Uni. Uni's the top market cap DeFi coin, but there's actually nothing in Uni governance to indicate that they will anytime over coming months, certainly probably years, have any token value accrual back to Uni beyond governance. And yet, look at it floating up here at $42 and being worth like, I don't know, $20,000 per airdrop or something. What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy to think.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to mention is GBTC apparently said they're buying 750 million buyback.
Yeah, I think that
Today?
discount's going to go away.
Yeah.
The ETH one already did. ETH discount is back nearly to a premium. And that even the ETH one was down to like a 10% discount. Tell you what, man, I put some of my ETH into coin just to enjoy it for like I don't know, just wanted to play the coin launch. Well, that was a mistake. Like you do coin versus ETH for the Coinbase IPO. What's ETH up 40% since, and Coinbase, I'm still underwater. I bought it in the 300s, but like it's just sitting here at 300, like at 300.
Oof.
Yeah. So anybody that sold their ETH for coin, RIP, just like me.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Coin, what is it? Is it sub 300 yet?
It was sub 300. It's like 3.
Okay.
Oh, now it's exactly 300. It opened. It's just pointless, right? It's like this has just done absolutely nothing. It's like a long distribution for all these shareholders, and they're probably buying ETH with their profit.
Yeah, I was about to say the Coinbase employees are on the exact opposite side of the trade.
Yeah, they're like, I
happy.
gotta buy ETH. It's going to
I'm
10K.
finally liquid. Yeah. Well, I mean, at least a dope ticker. You got to have that in your portfolio. It's nice to have a cool coin.
It is a good ticker. Yeah.
I'm curious, macro wise, do you guys think this DeFi summer has the potential to offer up some of the multiples that we had last year, like Aave's, the 70Xs, like the DeFi opportunities? Because we're already kind of mid-cycle, late cycle, whatever you want to call it. Are 1 year out from this DeFi summer, we're gonna look back and say, man, this DeFi summer too, I bought some of these things. They're up 50x in a year. Is that going to happen again, or is it getting a little more thin?
I think we're going to see pre-sales come out at 50 to 100x. I think the stuff that ran last time, anything under 100 million, everybody will, if it's at 100 million, people will make the case for it going to $1 billion market cap. If it's $1 billion, it'll make the case for going to 10 billion. I think kind of the 5 to 10x for DeFi stuff, centralized exchange listings, which really, really have slowed down. Like Binance was putting so much stuff in the innovation zone. You remember that in like August and September? And I think listings have been pretty pathetic, honestly. So I think we'll see stuff that's only on centralized exchanges start to get or only on decentralized exchanges, get to centralized exchanges. There'll be like those types of pumps. I think the new listings will go absolutely ham. You'll find out about 100x pre-sales, and then what'll happen is new pre-sales will come out and they'll be way too expensive. That's already happening. And like those people will be late, right? And the token generation event won't be until next year and they'll get wrecked. Same as happened in 2017 almost.
Yeah, I was just going down this DeFi list for ETH and looking at the stuff I'm in versus not in. And the stuff I'm not in, I have no idea what it is. Like liquidity, that's new to me. To like as of today, I have no idea what that is. Mirror, Alchemex.
Liquidity is one of the ones that was a recent like pre-sale launch, and it's very very VC backed. Same old story.
Mirror is actually pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool coin. It's just that's what I'm talking about. Like whatever the liquidity pre-sale value is probably they're probably at a nice multiple for themselves,
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything that's listed that is going to do like 100x, but maybe I'm wrong. You know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more safe multiples for stuff that's out there. Like I can't not look at Curve, like versus ETH. It's like looks like it's failing in inverse head and shoulders, but versus BTC, like it's been in this consolidation above the 200. Like this is pretty much my favorite trading setup, the Curve BTC like flip thing. And then versus USD, it just looks like it's ready for price exploration. But do I think Curve is going to 10 or 20x? Not really. Do I think it's going to go to $10? Yes. So I don't think that's asking too much. A 3x on a DeFi blue chip that is pretty overlooked. The charts look good, but they're just in this painful consolidation right now. And I think that's the type of stuff that if DeFi summer kicks off, those will be the kind of the straightforward plays, maybe some of the early plays as well.
I think the biggest thing for the DeFi laggards like me who like didn't get on the bandwagon early is I feel more comfortable putting more capital into stuff, even though the multiple is smaller, just because I know it's not going to disappear. You know,
Right.
it has a history at this point, right? Although this like 15 to 20 DeFi coins, they have a purpose, they have a history, they have a use case, they have volumes, blah, blah, blah. Like I feel way more comfortable now than I did even, a year ago, 6 months ago, putting any money in any of this stuff. So I don't care that I missed like a 10x, right? Like, because I wouldn't put any money in it at that time anyway. So that's why these 2x, 3x look fine to me here, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there's a lot more DeFi laggards too. That's something I always remember. I feel like there's just a ton of people like that were sidelined kind of throughout the whole thing or almost dying.
I still know tons of people that don't. They're like, I don't know where to buy
what I mean.
this. Like they're still not on. They're still unwilling to trade a DEX, which is insane. If you are out there, if you want like the stuff that's going to have the higher multiples, like if you're like Josh just said, you're okay with the lower multiples. Sure, you can be on a centralized exchange. If you want the higher multiples, you're not getting it unless you're accumulating these projects on a DEX.
Got to risk it for the biscuit.
That's right. And but the thing is, it's not like it's overly risking it because you're buying on a DEX. You're just self-custodying. It's a good thing.
No, it's like it's the rug risk.
There's some operational risk.
Yeah,
there's a little bit extra risk.
Yeah, if you go buy like the stuff that's a $5 million cap, but like there are projects that are good projects in that sub 200 million, which is not a tiny cap, sub $200 million market cap that is DEX only, and the markup is going to be when those like legitimate DeFi projects that are not yet on a centralized exchange, they mark up, they get centralized listings, etc., and they make their move from somewhere between say 50 and 200 million. Lots of projects fit in that range, up to $1 billion plus protocols. Josh, you're picking up my eternal pain of ZRX.
I'm just looking through all these DeFi charts and thinking 2x, 2x, 2x everywhere. Like I don't like the chart is almost irrelevant to me. It just looks like it's ranging and ready to break up. I don't know.
Yeah,
everything looks good.
People, they love giving me crap about some of my slow movers, but I'm just trying not to be too picky. Like ZRX had multiple months of consolidation, and it's just pressing the ceiling again of January 2018 highs, and I expect it to run the fibs.
It's got to go higher.
Yeah, am I underperforming while it sits below $2? Yes. Do I think it's also going to like $5 plus? Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
That's okay. I sleep at night fairly well with my ZRX position. It's not
exactly.
Yeah. All right, what else do you guys got? Anything to close us off? What are you watching this week?
Josh?
Crickets. I guess how ETH does throughout the week. Watching for some news.
Picks up a retrace of some sort.
Really watching to see who's buying. There's got to be somebody who's buying like $1 billion worth of ETH right now. It's got to be.
Yep.
That's really what I'm waiting for. July's going to be interesting. Is it going to be buy the rumor, sell the EIP? That would be completely contra narrative to everything anybody's thinking about. Q3 seasonality is bad. That's one worrisome thing. I'd be watching ETH, BTC hash rate this week. If that peels off some more, that's not good news for price. And watch that GBTC premium versus discount. See if it flips. That's kind of what I'm watching this week. Luke, what do you got?
Yeah.
XRP, right?
I'll be watching ETH. I am watching XRP. A lot of XRP haters out there. I'm also an XRP hater. I just think
XRP
for
hater,
the past
XRP
month or
trader.
two, man, it has been just the perfect high beta ETH play. And watching ETH go up, I know it's different drivers driving this. It's actual real money flows into ETH. There's a lot of reasons ETH should go up. There's about 0 reasons XRP should go up. But I don't care. I think the correlation will continue to exist. I think XRP should be above $2, above those highs that we were at in April. It's a fun dinosaur coin trade. Like, I just like playing some like one major at a time like this, because I'm not really ready to dive in head first into the DeFi rotation. So I play one DeFi or one dinosaur at a time. It's either XRP, it's EOS. Right now, it's XRP needs to be above $2.
I think what I struggle with the XRP above $2 is, remember all the stats that came out that like Brad Garlic Bread is like the 3rd richest person in the world when it's $3?
I can't wait for that.
I just don't think it'll happen. Like, I think that is too clarifying of a signal of the stupidity of XRP being that high. I think it'll just
pledge. Dogecoin is worth 40 cents right now.
Don't care.
You're telling me XRP can't be above $2?
Doge has better fundamentals than XRP by a mile.
I don't deny that, but I'm saying it's still at 40 cents. I mean, if Dogecoin's at 40 cents, Ripple could be at $40.
Yeah, but Jackson Palmer doesn't own any Doge, so you like don't look at Doge. You don't know who are the Doge whales. You know, like it's just you know exactly who gets rich and how rich they get when it's XRP, and you know their legal situation. Like I just think it's gonna lag, but that's okay. It's your watch. Look, it's your watch. As
a measure of market stupidity, we are at all-time highs with Doge this high. That means XRP has to go higher. I'm not saying it should.
It's also
saying the market's pretty dumb. I would love to see it.
Also, I mean, the same way we were in disbelief of Doge holding 5 cents, it's now holding like 35 to 40 cents. So
it's crazy, man.
I mean, the Doge to $1 thing is market top stuff big time, but like, I'm not going to be shocked if it happens at this point. I'm just not going to be in it, you know? Freaking Tunes and Kaleo are going to be Doge billionaires off of it, but whatever. My thing to watch, there's this daily range where I think it helps us basically determine whether Bitcoin has a new leg down, new lows, or hits price exploration. I'm highly, highly skewed towards thinking it's going to find the upside, but I'm watching 56K, 20-day moving average, which is sloping down, by the way. The 20-day has been sloping down since April 18th. That doesn't happen a whole lot in bull market uptrends, and it usually doesn't last for very long. And also, I love when BTC flips the 20-day. Same thing I looked for in ETH back at 2,200. It has done that, so I'm actually looking for this range. It's going to make its decision, in my mind, between 56 and 59. Everything in between is noise. A daily close above 59, a daily close below 56 determines the next move. Daily close above 59, I think it goes to 80. That's what I'm looking for. I think that's a multi-week move. I don't think that's like one day Chad candle.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. But I think the 56 or 59 will determine, a couple weeks worth of price action. So that's what I'm looking for. Chat, we are looking for you to subscribe to Weekly Open. Also, we're looking for you to share it. If you enjoy this show, we'd love for you to share it on Twitter and places like that. We would appreciate that very much. It's been a pleasure having you. You can go to weeklyopen.com to catch the replays. And we actually have audio of these episodes as well. Thanks for being here. Thanks to Blockfolio for being our partner. Make sure you go to weeklyopen.com/Blockfolio. You can download it there. Check it out for yourself and get started trading on Blockfolio. It's a great mobile experience. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.